John and Yoko released their first avant-garde album at the end of 1968, two virgins gaining much notoriety for the fact that they appeared naked on the front cover. But as soon as January 1969, they were planning their second, Life with the Lions. When it appears, side 1 will be completely filled with a 26-minute live performance named Cambridge 1969, which John and Yoko recorded on stage in March. The backstory is that Yoko had accepted an offer to perform at an avant-garde art workshop and was booked to appear on her own. But John felt like involving himself and imagined it could instead become a rock event. The challenge was to figure out how they would play, Yoko having no real musical background and no band. Here's where the Beatles' Nagra tapes, as recorded on 23rd of January 1969, reveal their thoughts.
I'd like that for Yoko Lenono and the Dirty Rotten Band. It's great though, because she's just been invited to do some avant-garde thing in Cambridge. Yeah. And I'll go along. I'll try and get Eric up, get the leathers round, and we'll do a big rock show.
Just smash them, just to make
It's great though.
This is basically John outlining his plans for the event. Put a band together with Billy Preston or Eric Clapton and stage a freak-out. But why is this relevant to the Beatles' Get Back sessions? Simply because there on 23rd of January, John, Yoko, Paul and Billy are all together, and they do indeed stage a spontaneous freak-out right there in the Apple studio. This is none other than a tryout, a rehearsal of Cambridge 1969, the avant-garde performance John and Yoko will give. This solves the problem of how they will perform on stage. Let's hear a bit of this Apple rehearsal. This wild freak-out lasted around 10 minutes, but how do we know this is Cambridge 1969 and not some other random freak-out? Because John says so right after it ends.
We're just practicing for a live show. Yeah, you too, lad.
John and Yoko discuss their ideas.
No, that's not good.
Fantastic, the curtains open and you're in gold
But
army.
it's not good, not in Cambridge. It's not a good idea. It just makes people...
Everything to be its first show. 500 people.
So there can be little doubt this performance, behind closed doors, is a trial run of Cambridge 1969. Yoko, backed by John, Paul and Billy Preston, inside Apple's studio. It's another of those astonishing moments in the Get Back tapes which have just not been noticed over the years. As mentioned, the live performance in March will become half of John and Yoko's Life with the Lions LP. The other side will consist of some tapes they had made in 1968, giving rise to tracks such as Radio Play. In a separate discussion with EMI cutting engineer Malcolm Davis, John mentions these tapes.
Malcolm, you know that radio playing thing? Remember? You did all that and her singing.
Yeah.
How long did it all last?
Radio play was, I think, about 8:50 or something like that.
The whole thing?
Something like that. And Song for John, on a windy day and all that, was around about 9 to 10 minutes, which was right for a 7-inch 33, not for a 7-inch 45.
I mean, so it wouldn't be at one side of an LP.
Yeah, easily. Well, it's 16.
Could you make me a lacquer of it?
Yeah, sure.
Of the whole thing as one side?
So this is lining up side 2 of the album. In the end, one of the tracks mentioned, On a Windy Day, also known as Song for John, did not make the cut, but Radio Play did and made up most of side 2. Thus we can see that both sides of Life with the Lions were taking shape in the same room where the Beatles were meantime recording their Let It Be album. And that freak-out is none other than a Lennon-McCartney recording of Cambridge 1969. So among the many versions of future solo material tested out in the Get Back tapes, tracks like All Things Must Pass and The Backseat of My Car, we have another. Who knew? This and many other interesting discoveries were made during research for my new book, Let It Be, The Making of the Beatles' Final Album, Book 2, The Apple Sessions and Beyond. You can find it on Amazon. In writing it, I have examined the 100 hours of Get Back tapes in full, in unprecedented detail, and you'll be amazed at some of the things which have emerged.